Every morning, Bruce Salisbury wakes up to milk his 44 brown-eyed beauties. Bruce milks his cows by himself to make cheese and, of course, raw milk. Generally, he will milk the cows from about 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. Then it's time to make the cheese. While the milk gets churned, Lewis helps feed some of the newborns. At 6:45, the milkman comes to pick up the milk that Bruce doesn't keep for himself. While the milkman is getting the milk, Bruce and Lewis go to feed the cows. After over 3 hours, the milk is starting to curd, and now it's time to separate the whey. When the whey is done draining, Bruce then lets the curds further dry out by cutting them into blocks and flipping them over. When the curds are dry, it's time to start shredding them into small cubes. Finally, mix in some salt and you're done making fresh cheese. So, why dairy farms?
The best times of our life is when we were milking cows, so we chose to do this again as a lifestyle. And it's not necessarily, it certainly isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It was just a discipline that we enjoy.
Why do you think more people aren't buying raw milk?
Well, we do have quite a bit of sales, but we're always looking for more. We need to get as much of our production on 40 cows to value added as possible. One of the problems is that we still have a pretty serious problem of bootleggers, which are people that are milking cows and selling milk that's ungraded. Then we've got pirators, which are people that have a grade A farm that are milking cows that are filling out of the bottom of their tank into customer containers. And we are truly one of 3 licensed retail raw milk providers, and which it's quite a hurdle, quite a few steps that we do that the others don't have to do. I mean, our cows are tested for brucellosis and TB. Our containers are state approved, tamper evident lids. The milk is labeled for the production. Our well is properly tested. Well water is properly tested. It's Greene County tests our finished milk products every month. Of course, we still ship to the co-op, which then every other day our milk is tested through the co-op. We exceed pasteurized milk standards, which is not too many places can say that. But we work pretty hard to provide the most wholesome and healthful product that we can.
To you, what are some of the advantages of raw milk?
Well, it's as nature intended. It's straight out of the cow. It is a cream-lined milk. You're going to have all of the natural probiotics and enzymes that are offered in a raw product as opposed to a pasteurized, homogenized product. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of science out there, and you can get lots of data on both sides of the coin. It seems that raw milk is a very passionate subject, and I still believe that raw milk, if that's what you wish to consume, you should have the right to do that. There's a lot of people that are consider themselves lactose intolerant that do just fine on raw milk. So we've got people that represent that they've had asthma and sinus problems, and they can do raw milk, and those problems go away. So there's lots of testimonials that we get of how good of the results are for having the raw milk. On the same token, academia will tell you that, there's some of these are quite obscure, but there's like 40 different diseases you can get from raw milk. Raw milk is the absolute best medium to grow bacteria and pathogens in. So we protect, there's probably five really major ones, of which 2 of them we test for annually. Which would be brucellosis and tuberculosis. You would have an E. coli, which would typically be, that's not necessarily going to come from the cows. That's going to be a cross-contamination that you're going to pick up. That Campylobacter would be another one. Salmonella would be another one. And I consider most of those would be post-production type problems, not necessarily actually in the milk. Listeria also would fit in that category. So out of those 6 that I just listed, 2 of them were tests for. The others, we just run a clean enough operation that we trust that we're not going to have any problems with that.
Why do you think more people don't sell raw milk?
Well, to do it, there is a lot of raw milk that is sold, surprisingly. You just don't hear about it. They say 1%. They're estimating, the government, academia, estimates that 1% of all production goes out as raw milk. I would not be surprised if that number was higher. Access, there is some money to be spent to get to a licensed operation. As I say, there's only 3 of us in the state that are doing it licensed for retail raw. Of course, we do have some other smaller plants and dairy, farmstead type dairies that are doing the pasteurized, homogenized sales, selling in glass, which would be, I'm not sure which the one is over in Mountain Grove. I'm not sure of their name, but of course Memory Lane here in the Springfield area, Portland. I certainly think that there's room for more people to do raw milk. We're very limited on how we can sell that raw milk, so it's difficult for the customers to be able to hit our window, because we're at this time only allowed to sell at the Springfield Farmers Market, which is Saturday mornings for us from 8:30 to 12, or here on farm. So you're pretty limited to what you can, where you can find the product. Which hinders sales, obviously, but retail raw milk cannot be resold, so we can't put it on store shelves or anything like that. It is, in theory, to be between me, the producer, and you, the consumer.
What are some of the challenges of selling raw milk?
Well, one of the biggest problems is we're very limited. As I said earlier, there's only 2 places we are allowed to sell now, which is at the Springfield Farmers Market. Greene County has allowed us to sell there, and we sell on farm, but then we have other counties, and the other licensed producers are in the same boat that I am, but specifically for us, Christian County won't let us sell at their farmers markets. Lawrence County has said no, but is now in the process of reconsidering to let us sell at the Aurora market. So we've not heard back. I mean, we've kind of heard a tentative yes. I've sent them paperwork, but we still haven't got a definitive answer. We just need to have more venues. As far as the state milk board is concerned, who is our regulating organization, you know, but we've got 5 state licenses to do what we do here, 4 different state inspectors, and yet now we're at a problem where we don't have anywhere we can sell our product. Whereas in actuality, as I spoke before, the bootleggers and the pirators get to operate with total immunity. I mean, they're not collecting sales tax, they're not paying their use taxes, they're not paying any permit fees. I mean, there's you know, just lots of costs that they don't have to incur that we do. So I wish the playing field could get leveled, and that the state milk board could enforce the rules as they're written, and control how this milk flows, and to be assured then that we have a good, wholesome product for the consumer to buy.
If you could go back, would you do it all again?
I truly enjoy the lifestyle. I'd have to say, yes, I really enjoy milking cows. I have found the marketing end of it to be trying, but as far as for the work that I do on farm and working with the cows and the maintenance and farm work that we do, I still find that enjoyable. So the only thing that's ultimately going to pressure me, I think, is whether physically I can continue to do the work. Mentally, I still enjoy what I do. There's just something aesthetically pleasing about milking a cow. So I still enjoy it. I'm up at 3:30 every morning with 99.9% of the time without an alarm clock. So obviously I'm still enjoying what I'm doing.